Israel approves entry of humanitarian aid to Gaza from Egypt after U.S. pressure.
Here's a summary of the article.
Israel's war cabinet on Wednesday approved the entry of humanitarian aid into Gaza from Egypt following pressure from the U.S. and other countries. Calls have been growing for aid to be allowed into Gaza as the humanitarian crisis in the tiny enclave worsens after 12 days of war. Driving the news, the office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the decision to allow humanitarian aid into Gaza was made due to the broad and crucial U.S. support for Israel's war effort. In light of President Biden's request, Israel will not prevent the flow of humanitarian aid from Egypt as long as it is food, water and medical supplies for the Palestinian population in the southern Gaza Strip and as long as it doesn't go to Hamas. Any aid diverted to Hamas will be prevented, Netanyahu's office said. A senior Israeli official said that during his meeting with the Israeli War Cabinet, Biden asked that Israel allow the entry of humanitarian aid to Gaza and explained it would help in maintaining international support for the operation against Hamas. Giving short remarks just before leaving Israel, Biden confirmed he asked the Israeli War Cabinet to approve the entry of aid to Gaza and said he gave a commitment to Israeli officials that all the aid would go through security checks. Between the lines, allowing humanitarian aid into Gaza has been a highly charged political issue in Israel since the war began.
This post received a score of 7,200, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
US has been busy AF trying to remove powder in that keg.
Seriously, I mean this hasn't been a PR tour. They are legitimately afraid of WWII and the total collapse of the oil market. But they do seem genuinely concerned with avoiding a massacre.
Will a collapse of the oil market even affect the US much? Isn't the US pretty much self-sufficient these days? Sure, an increase in prices elsewhere would cause the oil producers in the US to increase prices as well. But if the situation got dire enough, pretty sure a threat to nationalize them would fix matters pretty quickly.
US is self-sufficient but Europe isn't, and US needs to protect the world economy because if the world economy suffers, everyone does, including the US.
I think Asia would take the biggest hits.
Perhaps, but given Europe's attempt to get off of Russian oil, they are more vulnerable to any global shake-up right now.
I thought Biden was way too old for the role of US president. But credit where credit is due, his subdued style and decades of experience is actually proving useful in this situation.
Not to diminish Biden's role in all this personally, but also want to shout out the diplomatic team he and his team put together.
Presidents have two jobs: being a good manager and being a good figurehead. He's good at both, and being a good manager means choosing the right people, and making sure that they're doing the job well.
Not being constantly inflammatory is also a check for him. When you work with a group you need to have a steady mindset or it'll just turn into ego matchups.
Biden has done a brilliant job on this. In light of President Biden's request, Israel will not prevent the flow of humanitarian aid from Egypt as long as it is food, water and medical supplies for the Palestinian population in the southern Gaza Strip and as long as it doesn't go to Hamas. Any aid diverted to Hamas will be prevented, Netanyahu's office said. Good job, Joe. He's doing good work, making this American very proud.
How can that be prevented?
It's lip service. There's almost no logistical way to prevent some of this going to Hamas.
Which is why Israel doesn't usually support this kind of thing.
Even if some goes to Hamas, starving civilians to avoid that is disproportionate. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Also, they said they want hostages released in exchange for aid. Not that they absolutely must do this to weaken Hamas.
Honest question. What would be proportionate? This may sound facetious, but the perfect proportionate response would be targeting civilians at a concert, wouldn't it?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.